and welcome back to more Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So last time we got through the Egg Cup and had a much better run than the failed recording, but this time, for obvious reasons, we're going to be playing as Link. So added through a patch for the Switch version is Link's Breath of the Wild appearance, so we'll obviously be using that since that's exclusive. And in addition to that, a new cycle was added, the Master Cycle 0 from Breath of the Wild, Champion's Ballad. So I guess, spoilers for Breath of the Wild, but there we go. And the Triforce Cup. Starting out with another retro course, Wario's Gold Mine. I wouldn't have really thought of Wario's Gold Mine if you were to ask me to pick a track from Mario Kart Wii and then put it into 8. This is not one that would come to mind immediately, but I think it's actually a really good fit for a few reasons. Partly this is one of, I think, the faster tracks, because there's a lot of downhill sections and it just feels a lot more exhilarating, like right here. You also add a lot of anti-gravity, which actually works really well with the overall layout. I should not have used that mushroom there, that was a mistake. This is a really fancy bike for a free part, basically. With all the little glowing lights on it and everything, it's pretty fancy. But yeah, obviously no anti-gravity originally, but it actually works super well for this course. Also, these little mine carts give you a little bit of an opportunity to boost off them, so... again, this just, would not have been my first choice, but it actually works super well for 8. But yeah, on the subject of DLC, a lot of people think Mario Kart 8 is an example of doing DLC right. A lot of stuff was added, like the last cup, and this one, both have some really good tracks in them, and I think both DLC packs combined were like $12 or something. It was really inexpensive. For like 16 tracks and 6 characters and like various alt colors for Shy Guy and Yoshi and things like that. So ultimately, I think the DLC for Wii U was extremely worth it, if you're into Mario Kart. And yeah, definitely I feel like Nintendo started out doing DLC a lot better than they actually do it now, actually. Now I feel like the DLC packs, like the Season Pass for this game, would have been like $20, which I still think isn't entirely unreasonable for this game, but definitely I think the DLC was only as cheap as it was because of, well, frankly, the Wii U was doing super badly, and they needed to basically prop up this game because it was doing really well, and releasing DLC I think helped to, I guess, preserve the Wii U a little bit longer than it would have survived otherwise. Same with like Smash Bros. To be honest, with Nintendo doing a lot better and being able to afford to price things more competitively with other season passes by other companies, yeah, I don't think we'll ever get DLC this cheap from Nintendo ever again, unfortunately. Also, you can cut corners here, that's kinda neat. On the whole, I do think this is a really good retro course. Not one of my personal favorites, but still a really good time. This is another track that would not have come to mind, but I think it's actually pretty fun. The Super Nintendo Rainbow Road is just very linear, and it's kind of neat though having like the first Rainbow Road though. I guess this would be its second appearance, or as a retro track because of Super Circuit. But you have these little ripples from the swamps that you can trek off of. You have a couple ramps. Overall, it's a pretty good track. It's just very basic, but it's actually kind of nice, I guess, for its simplicity. You also have no guardrails, so there's still a lot of legitimate danger, and you have to actually kind of tread lightly to avoid falling off like that. That was cutting it way closer than I would have liked. Personally, I do wish they had picked a different Rainbow Road. I would have gone for DS over SNES, but obviously this would probably would have been a lot easier to set up if I'm being honest. I hate using the Super Horn for red shells, but hey, this is a pretty short course, so hopefully we don't have like a lot of blue shells. I think the Thwomp took out the red shell, so that worked out. Yeah, last lap. It's a pretty short course, considering, you know, the N64 one took up like 1 lap, and was still like probably longer than this. Oh, that's bad. So this is gonna be kind of cutting it close, I guess. Again, this would be a really bad time for a blue shell, which means I'll probably end up getting a blue shell. There we go. That should ensure we can make it to first. Yeah, that was a little dicier than I would have liked, but hey, it all worked out, I guess. So, those are the 2 retro courses. I think the next 2 courses are new, though. Ice Outpost is another really good track, but it's actually not really a favorite of mine. I think it's probably one of my less liked DLC courses, which means it's like, it's not bad, but it's just not really my preferred course. There are actually a lot of really good DLC courses, so this one just doesn't feel as standout by comparison. Also with the DLC characters, I don't know how rivals work, if the DLC characters have like rivals. So far, Baby Daisy is being quite the fierce competitor, but yeah, I'm not sure if that she qualifies as rival. There's also a hidden pathway down here, which is kind of neat. Kind of struggled to find it, and I missed a red shell as a result, so it worked out. I do wish triple bananas, now that we have this item, I do wish they worked better. Again, because the red shell can technically go in between and still hit you, so that's fun. It's not like a perfect shield. You might even want to pull a double dash and just drop one behind you to be certain it'll block an incoming item. Can't block that though. As soon as I stop getting the super horn item, that's when the blue shells start coming out, of course. Yeah, this seems like a pretty good shortcut, so I'm gonna start taking this. Oh, well that didn't work out. I don't know how strong the AI rubber bands either. Personally, I feel like I've gone a pretty good string of luck here lately. I do think there is some rubber banding, and I noticed it more in online. For example, from when I used to play, the AI rubber bands to player 1. So if player 1 is really far ahead, then the AI will try to catch up with them. And you just kind of get left in the dust. Still though, I do feel like it's a little better than some Mario Karts. Like, it's not nearly as frustrating, personally, trying to get through. Like, I was expecting a lot worse luck, to be honest. I feel like I've been doing kind of poorly, actually, at times. Getting hit by a lot of items, driving off the course quite a few times, missing shortcuts, and then intentionally taking some slower pathways just to show them off. That pathway to the right, I'm not sure if I can do that without a mushroom, so I'm not gonna risk it. But yeah, I feel like the AI's been really generous for the most part, and it's like, again, it took until the DLC to actually really have a problem with the AI at all. if you were wondering why this is called the Triforce Cup, now it should be pretty obvious. Hiero Circuit is a really cool track, but it's also kind of a weird track when you think about the lore implications. Like, you have the soldiers that kind of have their Spirit Tracks uniforms, but then we have, like, originally Link was very much patterned after Skyward Sword, because that was the most recent Zelda game at the time. Obviously there's a Breath of the Wild costume now, but that was not the case originally. But yeah, it's kind of this weird hodgepodge. So like, what timeline is this in? Because again, I get little hints of Spirit Tracks, but also some Skyward Sword. So, like for example, coming up right here, actually a little bit later, you can boost through there between the fence. Obviously I don't have a mushroom. The Deku Bobbas are based on Skyward Sword, so again, lore-wise, this is kind of a mess. But it's still a really cool track. The music is great. It's a nice little level of difficulty, and I feel like it's a little easier than Ice Outpost, actually. It's a little bit less twisty. One cool mechanic is these little boost areas. Here, if you manage to like hit them all, they can actually activate a special boost with the Master Sword. So like, I think they reset unfortunately because of the lightning, and I couldn't get to them in time. But you actually unlock a special ramp, and then you can actually boost off of the Master Sword in the center. This also creates a plot hole because Link's his trick animations involve using the Master Sword. So, a little bit of a paradox there. But yeah, I think I'm putting too much thought into this. It's just fan service, but yeah, from a plot standpoint, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I don't know why I'm doing so well in this race. Look how far behind everyone is. Let's see if I can actually get this too. Missed it, barely. 2 blue shells though, so that's great. Obviously I'm doing too well if the game is trying to stop me this badly. Wait, were there 2 this race, or am I thinking of last race? I actually don't remember. There's an upper path and lower path, both kinda take you inside and out on the inside and outside of the track, so I think they kinda even out. Either way, that is the end of the Triforce Cup, and that was a pretty good run. Not too much trouble. Wow, there was actually a tie. That doesn't happen every day. But yeah, not too bad. So, it's a pretty good bike. I think it's got pretty standard stats, I should mention, since it was free, obviously. Yeah, the Master Cycle Zero is actually pretty fun. I didn't mention it, but if you, like, use the horn of the bike, like pushing L is yell when you don't have an item. I think Link's horn, or maybe the bike's horn, I don't remember if it's character specific or vehicle specific, but it's actually the Sheikah Slate sound. Overall though, not too much trouble with that one. I find that one actually easier than the Egg Cup, because Dragon Driftway and Mute City are kind of difficult tracks compared to anything we see in this cup except Ice Outpost. Also, the trophies are a little disappointing. A lot of the DLC cups are just the same, but different colored and a different emblem. But hey, they're DLC. Obviously making an entire trophy look like a Triforce is a lot harder than just putting an emblem on an existing model. But either way, next time I think we have the Crossing Cup. So, thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join me next time for more I almost said Animal Crossing, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.